Alright, hey guys, before I start getting into the discussion of today, which is the Bad Batch TV series, which is set to come out in 2021, I just want to let you guys know that today I'm going to be using Premiere Pro to edit this video, and also the next lore video, which is set in the Old Republic era. So I'm going to be using Adobe programs like Photoshop for the thumbnails and Premiere Pro for editings for the next couple videos, and see how well I like it. And I've just edited together just the intro, trying to get the audio to fade in and out, and it's been pretty difficult so far, but I've gotten the handle on it in the past couple minutes, so I'm excited to get into this. So here we go. Time to talk about the Bad Batch. So we're going to discuss today the new series that was announced for Disney Plus on Monday, the Bad Batch TV show, and I'm going to just read out what the synopsis is on StarWars.com. It reads, "The series follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Clone Wars, as they find their way through the rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. Members of the Bad Batch, a unique squad of clones who vary genetically from their brothers in the Clone Army, each possesses a singular, exceptional skill which makes them extraordinarily effective soldiers and a formidable crew. In the post-Clone Wars era, they take on daring mercenary missions as they struggle to stay afloat and find a new purpose." So the premise of the show intrigues me about how the synopsis we just read was an open-ended question of whether or not they executed Order 66 and if they stayed with the new Empire and how they were going to be dismissed from service. I'm excited to see how the characters are expanded and evolved from more caricatures of how they were in the Clone Wars, like how Wrecker was a very tough guy that wants to have fun all the time kind of person, and how they are going to be turned into full characters with insecurities and flaws, as well as hidden strengths. Another thing I'm excited to dive into, and I hope they touch on, is the psychology of the clones, and how they are made into mindless soldiers under the Empire opposed to their more free-willed way of thinking with their Jedi generals in the Clone Wars under the Republic, and how they are treated by the general population as they are slowly being relieved of duty, as well as how the Bad Batch will feel having to presumably fight clones in clone armor, and then later clone troopers that are in stormtrooper armor. And even though they used to call them regs, but they still have the same genetic base of Jango Fett and still are brothers. I haven't mentioned it before, but I really want to stop looking at stories in the Imperial Era because it's being milked to death. It's even a topic on my list of possible discussion videos, but I have an exception for this show because it's likely to explore how the Republic transitioned into the Empire and how the oppression by the Empire began, from a citizen's perspective. I would really like to focus the story on fleshing out the Bad Batch for the majority of the first season and bringing more legacy Clone Wars characters later on, such as Ahsoka, Rex, Wolf, and Gregor, and show how Rex, Wolf, and Gregor specifically met up and went into hiding together, and others not necessarily with characters that are related or even met the Bad Batch from the Clone Wars, as I'm sure it can be viewed as a sequel series. So some of my favorites like Hondo and Cad Bane, whose death isn't really canon. It was a deleted arc in the old season 7 of the Clone Wars where Boba Fett killed him, but that's not exactly confirmed. So maybe Cad Bane could show up, and even Darth Maul, and they could show how he's really starting to build his crime syndicates larger and larger and gaining more power. The Bad Batch could even do a job for one of the crime syndicates. I also think the series, if it lasts very long, shouldn't have the Bad Batch in every episode. It could have more Ahsoka and Rex-centric episodes where the Bad Batch aren't necessarily in it, but they could show up and assist in the very beginning and the very end, as well as episodes on whatever new characters they choose to introduce could have their own solo stories, so that it's not exactly always the Bad Batch like how it is in Star Wars Rebels, with it always every episode being at least someone from the Ghost crew. Also, if it chooses to be a sequel series that is true to the Clone Wars, I would like it to have story arcs the same way the Clone Wars did, have the same animation style and design as the Clone Wars, and also bring back Kevin Kiner, who composed the score for the Clone Wars series because of his great work in the Clone Wars Season 7, and he made the original Bad Batch theme. ways I don't want to see the show go are the ways of Rebels, with every episode being a one-off mission that have the same characters in each, and it should try to keep the same energy the Clone Wars and not alienate its audience by being too childish. But I think Disney knows that, because in the official announcement it mentioned that the show was ordered by Disney Plus to basically capitalize on the success of Season 7 of the Clone Wars. I think this premise as of right now doesn't have 7 seasons in it like Clone Wars, maybe 4 seasons and at least 3, especially if the show runs at the same time as the rumored Rebels sequel series, which is even more likely now that this show has been confirmed, since it was also rumored for a while. I'm interested in seeing how the show will hold up if it gets the same large dedicated fan base as the Clone Wars, and how it will be looked upon in the future. And this is all speculation, of course, and although it's nice to do that, try not to get your hopes up in case the show ends up being a 4-episode limited run on one mission that the Clone Force 99 went on after Order 66. But that's unlikely. But nonetheless, I'm excited. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Comment, like, and share if you enjoyed, and leave a comment if you want to share your opinion on the Bad Batch TV show, no matter how dumb you may think it may be. Also, leave a comment about whether or not there should be 2 topics per discussion video like the last one. The last one with 2 topics ended up being 20 plus minutes. As of right now, the Bad Batch single topic episode is around 6 minutes. I could also think about gauging my topics more, but leave a comment about that if you have an opinion. And this video was set as a premiere, so if you go into the chat box to talk to someone who is watching the video at the same time, you guys can talk together in real time. But until my next video, may the Force be with you.